Hey everybody, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather. Doing a little bit of a live stream that we do every 2 weeks to talk about the next limited releases and everything that we're going to look at, which is about 400 photos, will be coming up live on the limited release page tomorrow, and that's May 29th. And I'm super excited to show everybody what we got coming. I'm gonna wait a couple more minutes until the time I promoted that we'll go live and show all this stuff. What's up, Muh? Hopefully you guys are hearing me and seeing me. You may notice the background here is going to continue to look different, and it does look different than last time because we've got another sewing machine there. We're expanding, getting more and more stuff made right here in Chicago. And Trucker's chain wallet, we should do that. There's actually some new designs in the limited releases today that I'm excited to show you. The big theme is going to be texture. And some of these textures are really beautiful. What I like most about the textures are how it makes the colors, pop. It gives a little bit more of a depth of color, especially in some of the cordovan colors. That gives it a nice like high and low in terms of the depth of the color. So we'll see it in a second here on some denim blue shell cordovan. Let's take the next minute to talk about the giveaway. So we on Instagram, if you guys aren't following us over on Instagram, I have a whole new team of people helping me get the word out about Horween Leather and Ashland Leather on the Ashland Leather Instagram, and check it out over there. We're doing a giveaway for the Trifold. It's our brand new design that I'm really happy about. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed using the Trifold. It's not normally a style I would consider, but I really liked the left side card slots. I was surprised at how easy it was to use. Anyways, over on Instagram, we are giving away a Trifold. We've done a couple giveaways in the past. There's nothing really secret about it. Just go on there. I think you have to comment about why your dad would want this Trifold. And that's all you got to do to enter to win. Just follow the instructions on the post. But it's free. We'll just send it to you. Yeah, we've given away shell wallets before. This Trifold's a good one. We have a couple Trifolds up on the site now and in the limited releases that we're about to look at. There are more Trifolds to look at here too. So let's dig into it. Like I said, there's 400 photos to look at. So we're gonna move with a bit of speed, yet grace. We're gonna be graceful as we speed along through these. Like I said, the theme is textures. We've got some new releases, some stuff nobody's ever seen before. Super excited to show you. I put this one first because this was one of my stunners. I really like this combination on the vertical Frank the Enforcer here with the blue lizard and black lizard together. You can also see this is our prototype variant on that vertical Frank, where we have something called the skip stitch, which means we have not stitched it down the side. So it gives it a little bit more easy access to that large center compartment. But because of how it's sewn still on the other two sides, it does hold everything together pretty tight. And then there's two card slots in the back of this vertical Frank. Again, I love the combination of the blue and black together. We also have the black hand stained edge on this one. I think takes it over the top cool. There's another look at it. Now, I'll say that this denim blue shell cordovan is lighter than normal because of the texture, but just denim blue in general, without the texture, is a little bit more of an aqua blue shade. As you spin it around, the color changes. So it can go from a light blue to a medium blue just in the same light setting. And keeping in mind that these are all under very bright light. So this is about as vibrant as you're going to see that. Sounds like the Trifold's gonna be, yeah, we're gonna stock the English tan Trifolds because there were a lot of people that wanted them. So we're gonna try to keep those in stock. Here's another prototype vertical Frank the Enforcer, same texture with the lizard. This time we have black and green shell cordovan with that black hand stained edge. That one is also a stunner. I love the way that the black shells look with the textures. You may have seen some of the black Dublin belts that we have as well. I love a Western texture, so I really like the way the Western black Dublin belts look. In fact, any black with the texture, there's something about it that just makes it look really sleek. But the combination here of black and green is really neat. Here's another good combo. This is a different color. This is not denim blue. This is, I believe this is just blue shell, and it's significantly darker. In some light settings, it will appear a little bit more of like a black, but it's like a darker navy blue. And then the inside here, you can see what I'm talking about. We have the card slots that are denim blue cordovan here and here, but the center card slots of the vertical ones are the regular blue with the Western texture. You can see the difference in color right there. The back side of the center there has a really nice aqua blue, a little bit of green to that blue that I think is really nice. Got the same blue handsain edge in this one, and that's our vertical Bugs Moran. And then the other thing we're featuring for this drop are a few items in Horween's new leather called Aspen. I have done a poor job explaining how nice this leather is because it's kind of hard to describe. You really have to see this one in person. If somebody in the chat has a piece of Aspen, I'd love to hear your experience with it. But for me, it has a really specific feel that does not feel like any other leather, period. It's very buttery, very smooth. It's got a really bright shine to it, as you'll see on many of these photos. And the color, like this acorn, it's very vibrant in color. It also has a really fine grain. So it's a special leather, and I struggle to describe it. It's really one of those pieces you have to see in person. It has a unique top coat applied to it made out of casein protein. It gives it this glassy, sugary, shiny luster that I really, really like. Commercials on live, I don't know, man. YouTube has control over that. Sorry about the commercials. Here's another Acorn Aspen piece, and this is the Lucky card holder. I thought this one turned out very nicely. You can see on the edges of this that the color is a little bit lighter. When you flex this leather, it does have a little bit of a bursty sort of pull-up effect, but it's not as dramatic as something like the lighter colors of Dublin or even on a Chrome Excel. Oh, Ma and Ben looks like you guys have some Aspen. Love the hand feel, the soft, round, textured. Only negative is it rubs against something when wet, it can lose some color. Wow, I actually haven't experienced that, but I should take a piece and try that, Ben. I wonder if there's some adhesion issues on the piece you have. But I'll take a piece here in my shop and test out like a wet rub on it. Here's the back of that Lucky card holder. This has that same concept as some of those vertical franks we were looking at with we call it the skip stitch, which is only sewn on two sides in the shape of L. Is that an L? Yeah. It's either an L or a J. It's in the shape of an L is how it's stitched, leaving the center open. It just makes it a little bit easier to access that center slot. And I just think that's a beautiful piece. Here's a first of a kind Aspen belt, and this one is backed with a horsebutt strip. That's the same leather. It's tanned with the shell cordovan. It's a really grainy, beautiful leather, this Aspen. And I think it makes up very well for a belt, especially on a 2-layer belt. It's a little too thin and soft and drapey to make a single layer belt, even if that leather was a heavier weight. So you have to back it with something a little bit more substantial. And I think matching it with the horsebutt here was exactly the move. We also have another color of the Aspen. This is color 8. And for once in my life, I was able to capture the correct essence of what color 8 is. And that's the color you're seeing here. It's a really nice, deep eggplant, somewhat purple, but not too purple, a little bit of red to it. It's a dark brown with some burgundy undertones to it. And you can just see how bright and shiny and grainy this Aspen is. It's very, very nice. So we've got a Lucky card holder in the color 8 Aspen. And then we have a fun small zip. Check out how this one was cut too. So this is a Western texture on blue cordovan. Our small zip wallet has a gusseted interior with a re zipper to close it all up. And then on the inside of this one, we have a really fun yellow horsehide that pairs perfectly with the blue on the outside. I just love how, like I was saying, how this one was cut. This like circular pattern for the Western texture was cut right in the center of the small zip, and I think it turned out very well. It's a beautiful piece. And then we have a popular request recently. We sort of removed most of the Tony the Ant wallets from the website, and people have been emailing upset about wanting Tony the Ants. We've got a lot of Tony the Ants in the drop here. This one is awesome. I love this combination of amaretto shell with denim blue shell, and this has the hatch grain texture on it. We also have a blue handstand edge. It might be difficult to see there. There you go. It's got a nice edge, so it really frames out that whole look. Beautiful piece here. I see you guys chatting. Please keep chatting, and if you have any questions, I'll come back through the chat and answer all those, but we have 400 photos to go through. I love this one. Amaretto and blue is a perfect pairing. Honestly, my first and third favorite colors are these two. I really love amaretto. I love natural, and then I love the denim blue. It's a great combo. If you're not familiar with the amaretto, it's a little bit more orange when compared to natural shell, and it's a little bit less golden when compared to whiskey, but it's more full and vibrant of a shade. It really reminds me of like an English tan. Check out this Capone. This is the gator texture in a couple different colors. So this has marbled cigar with a gator texture, and then a then a natural gator texture in the center. And I think that paired well. We also have the handstand edge for this piece as well. It's a little bit more of like a medium brown color 4 type of edge stain that I think works. I really like that Capone. And then a design from the past. We haven't done this one in a few years. If you guys have been hanging out in the channel for a long time, thank you. This was something you might recall from years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. This is the Gus card case in denim blue shell cordovan with a gator texture on it. And the Gus card case has like a small gusseted section in the inside that is covered by this flap, and the flap stays shut just by the leather molding around whatever you put inside of it. There's no belly band, there's nothing to wrap around it. It will hold its shape. And there you can see a little bit of the gusset. There's 2 large compartments on the inside of this guy. I actually really like that design. We don't do a lot of it. Here's another fun one. This is a zipper prototype that is designed with the passport in mind. And I'm pretty excited about this too. We've got 2 versions to show you. So this one's a little bit taller, English tan Dublin on the outside. On the interior, and you'll notice there's 2 zipper pulls, so you can open it and close it from each. If you want to just like slide something in the top, you can do that. On the inside, this is like our passport field notes holder on the interior, so this will fit field notes as well as passports. There's 2 larger compartments, one under each side. There's one under here and one under that side, and then you've got your card slots on the left. And there's how the passport fits in. And then we did one in another leather that we haven't done in a long time. This is cobalt blue Dublin. It's darker. It's like a navy is how I would say it. It definitely has a blue undertone to it. Very aqua blue. You can kind of see it right there peeking out. Very aqua blue for the undertones, but the top color is a little bit more navy. And very grainy Dublin leather. And then the team here was trying something out. You can fit a passport underneath this slot on the right. I found it a little bit easier just to pop the passport in on top like that. Just drop it in on the top and then zip it closed, because it's kind of annoying to get it out of these things anyways. So you just drop it on top and zip it closed. It works pretty well. And then you've got a couple larger card slots on there and then an open compartment on the left side as well. It's another interesting prototype. Looking for feedback. We try to use the limited release as like a creative expression, or just to get ideas out there and iterate and see what people like and don't like. So feedback is always super helpful on any of these things. And I mentioned trifolds. We've got another trifold here in a new leather. This is the Stonewash Blue Cypress. Chris Lee, I did give him her small zip back, and she's got the bugs now, and she's really happy that she has her bugs back. She's a bugs fan. So Stonewash Blue Cypress on the trifold here. This one has a combination interior with black Dublin and the Stonewash Blue Cypress. So we call that the alternating interior. And there's one of these up on the site right now that's all Stonewash Blue, I believe. Here's another one in brown cypress. which is a really nice sort of caramely medium brown. It's not too dark of a brown, and it's not as vibrant and orange as the English tan. And I have a comment I'm like hesitant to say out loud, but I'll just tell you the truth. Here's a, what are we calling this color? Let me look at my notes here. For this trifold, this is Armagnac shell cordovan. So my struggle with the trifolds is honestly the price. And I don't like the price that we have to charge for this thing. It makes me a little bit bummed out because I thought we'd be able to do it less expensive. The leather, this is longer than our long wallet pattern pieces, and there's 2 of those huge pieces. So it's a little bit of a bummer how expensive this had to be, and I'm not happy about it. But it is what it is. So we've got Armagnac shell cordovan for this trifold. I think it's beautiful. Armagnac is lighter than cigar shell cordovan, but it's darker than whiskey. So it's got this interesting golden undertone, but it's still a medium brown. It's got a little bit more vibrance than the cigar. So I very much like the Armagnac. Can you tell you the way of the toilet? Well, my toilet, the bathroom's over here, but I don't know where your toilet is. Can you tell right now I like those vertical slots in the passport holder? Cool, man. How about a drop with non-shell only? I would love to do a non-shell only. Our Armagnac, pretty awesome. Honestly, I haven't done a ton of stuff in the Armagnac cordovan, but I really like it. Check this one out. This is Western Natural on a trifold. You can really see, is my screen not sharing anymore? Oh, there we go. Take a look at the luster here. It's the shells that we've been using and getting from Horween are super nice. Talk about glossy and shiny. You can even see it in this Armagnac. It's a really beautiful shell. And all the leather we've been getting has been really nice. I particularly like this Western texture for the depth of color, but it also makes it a little bit Western. You've got that sort of cowboy vibe. This develops an amazing patina. I'll plug the Facebook Patina Masters group. A person in the Patina Masters group had a Western, it might have been Western whiskey, showing some patina photos of how their Western texture shell has worn in, and it's beautiful. I love the textures for patina. The peaks of the textures, as you might imagine, sort of brush up against your pant pocket a little bit more than the valleys of the texture. So you end up developing a darker color on the peaks of the texture, and then the valleys retain some of that lighter shade. And it's a beautiful look. There's a huge piece of the Western shell on the back of the trifold. And then we've combined the card slots here with whiskey shell. I loved this one too. I think I even used this wallet as a thumbnail just because of how striking it was. So this is denim blue shell and black shell, both of which have the gator texture on it. I need to figure out how to slim down the trifold so it can be more fold. It's the length, man. So we have a long wallet in the drop here too, and I'll show you that in a second. The pattern piece for the trifold is bigger than the long wallet, and there's 2 of them. So we might not even be charging enough for the trifolds. Anyways, back to this Capone. I love this combo, blue and black. We've got the black clip on it, the black hand stained edges, blue stitching. So it's a really nice play on the blue and black. And the blue shell here is really vibrant, that denim blue. I love that Capone. And we've got another one here with black and green. Another black piece of hardware on the inside. Super sleek. I love the black hand stained edge. Here's a fun one. This is Gator Amaretto with a marbled green gator, I believe, underneath it. Hand stained edge on that guy, silver money clip. Here's a good one too. There's something about the black with the texture. So black gator, look at the edge is a color 8 finished edge. And I believe if I'm recalling correctly, this one has a color 8 interior. Yeah. So there's color 8 on the inside and black on the outside. Here's one I believe is the opposite of that. So we've got a little bit less, this is lighter than most color 8 I see. You can see the shift of color as you tilt it, a little bit lighter at certain angles. But color 8 is supposed to be a dark brown with burgundy reddish undertones. Maybe I may be misrecalling, but it's beautiful. No, this one is all color 8, inside and out. And we have an all reverse piece here that has a ton of Horween USA stamps on it. So this one, if you're not familiar with it, every piece of leather that Horween ships gets this authentic Horween USA stamp placed on it, as well as a measurement and grade stamp. So this says 2.2 feet squared, and usually there's a date. Maybe it's on the back of it. Yeah, so this is 0302, that's March 2nd, was the date it was measured. It could have been this year, it could have been, most likely it was last year or even earlier. So we sit on leather for a long time. There's a couple more. So this one was 1.8 feet. This is what it was 1.1 square feet. The shells are really small, which actually leads into that conversation again about the trifold. These small shells are also expensive, but yet they're still too small to cut a trifold out of. So we have to get larger, more expensive shells. I'm a little bit bummed out about the trifold just because of the price, but the design turned out great. Here is a quick Bugs Moran. It's like our normal Bugs Moran, except we have this quick access card slot on the outside. Been digging this too. Now this is a leather we haven't done, we've done it before, it's Chrome Excel. But this has a Western texture on it. Turned out remarkably well. I actually thought this was shell for a little bit. I know enough about leather, but it's as smooth and as shiny as cordovan. The giveaway was the inside center, where you can tell it's more fibrous than the cordovan. But that's really tight, very smooth Chrome Excel with the Western texture. We also have one on the Fat Herbie. I believe this is the only Fat Herbie in the drop today. And by the way, everything is going to be everything's going to be coming on the website tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time. And if you're on the newsletter, you'll know there. But usually the news, if you want one of these things, you might have to be right on the site at 5, because I've noticed there's usually 100 people on the website trying to buy these things before the newsletter even hits people's inboxes. So that's why I do the preview videos, try to give you a heads up on what's coming tomorrow. We could try a 2-piece on the outside of the trifold. I don't know, I have to figure out how to stitch that together. I might have to overlap them somehow. Could be an interesting concept. Here's another Giant the Fox, first the fox of the day. This is what we call the KC Red Latigo. It's supposed to be like the Chiefs red, paired with a blue cypress. So red and blue Giant the Fox, non-cordovan, and then the contrasting blue stitching. Here's the Giant, I love this one. This is black shell and whiskey shell with the gator texture. Check out the inside of that. I think that really works. There's something about the whiskey and black that kind of work. You tell me. I really like the look of that one. And then black. I think black is the most underrated color of cordovan. Probably because it's just more frequently seen. All right, then we have another gator texture. Look at the color shift here. This is natural cordovan. It's shocking to me at how much the color changes at different angles. Got a nice little Horween ink stamp in the bill slot of all these. This one has natural shell on the inside. I think that's a very clean look. And we're not even halfway through. I better keep it moving. This is color 8 shell. Natural wax and burnished edge, so no hand staining on that one. Good ink stamp in the center. And then we've got the combination of black and color 8 gator on the inside. Color 8 on the outside. Perfect looking shell. Here's a hatch grain. Hatch grain green. So green shell cordovan with that texture. It's a little finer of a texture when compared to the gator or even the Western. And combining that with the natural, I think it's a good pairing. And it got the same combination of the colors on the outside with that stitching. It's sort of like resembling the interior color. And then hand staining, the lack of hand staining on the edge with that natural edge gives it a nice framed out look that you can see there. And here is a lizard texture. I believe this is color 4 lizard. Really like this. You can see a lot of the depth of what I'm talking about here. It almost has like a shadowed antiqued look, but that's just the natural waxes being sort of squeezed out when they press it. It's really cool. Lizard color 4, that's awesome. Yeah, I really like that one. All right, here's the long wallet I was referencing. Now this is a new, every time we do a limited release, I always have to talk about things like, oh, this is all new, and it always is. I'm gonna put on my do not disturb. We're trying to stay on the cutting edge of designs for our leather goods, but also ideas from the tannery. So this is a riff on cordovan again. So what this is shell cordovan. They make it cigar, so it's a dark brown. Then they print a gator texture on top of it, and then they scrape it all away. And what ends up happening is you get a depth of color that you can see in the valleys of the texture, but also the texture becomes flattened. So this is not necessarily the correct terminology for it, but there's a finishing technique called hammering a texture. So like a hammered print, which is usually involves more of like sandpapering off peaks of the texture. This is sort of like that. They just scrape it all away. So it flattens down that texture quite a bit. So it's a little bit, it's more smooth feeling, and it's more of like a visual texture when compared to a cordovan like this that is like, has not been scraped away. So this is, I don't have a good name for it yet because I think hammered gator marbled cigar is like really confusing. So we're gonna have to come up with a new bit of language to describe this one. But this is our long wallet. Believe it or not, this whole piece, look how huge it is. This huge piece of leather is still not as big as the Trifold, and there's 2 of them on the Trifold. So the long wallet in the past was our largest piece. The Trifold has overtaken it. But I think it's worth it to show big context for the outside of this guy. And on the inside, I think that worked really well with the same leather matching. I know not everybody's going to use the long wallet, but when we get interesting context like we have here, we like to cut it into that larger pattern piece. Hammered gator, yeah, the drunk gator. I think that turned out beautifully. Now we've got some more prototypes on Frank the Enforcers with the skip stitch on the side, natural and denim blue shell with lizard texture. And this is a 5 slot, so 2 slots in the back, 2 in the front. I really like the look of that one. Photography turned out well this time. Vertical Frank the Enforcer with color 8 lizard and ultraviolet lizard, natural west and burnished edge that really frames it out nicely. And then that skip stitch as well. Bright shiny shells. Here's a lucky wallet. This is the color, this is the brown chrome excel with the western texture in it. Looks a lot like shell in person. I'm kind of surprised at how tight that is. Really bright and shiny. And then I think people are going to like this one a lot, or at least I do. This is another lucky wallet. Maybe you can guess what leathers these are. The one on the top here with this incredible figuring should be a dead giveaway. We sort of, I was going to say always, we frequently see this amount of figuring in this patterning on horse butts. So this is a pit-tanned horse butt for the flap, which is going to be great for molding over everything you put inside of it. And then we've placed that on top of some blue wax flesh. And again, this like natural blue combination I think really works. I'm excited very much about this specific wallet. Really like that combo. And I like the figuring on the top. Look at that. It's super bright and shiny. It's really, really grainy. It's awesome. I'm running out of descriptive words. Speaking of bright and shiny, check this out. Amaretto with a gator on top of, I believe this is color 8 gator. That combination, very, very, very bright, really shiny. And then we have the reverse here. This is color 8 on amaretto. Tony the Ants. I mentioned we have Tony the Ants. And we have color 8 on black for the Tony the Ant. I thought those are really clean, by the way. And then with the hatch grain, this is black and, or excuse me, this is cigar. It looks kind of black in this photo. That's cigar. It's a hatch grain cigar, I believe. And then Western English Tan Dublin, Tony the Ant, with a normal grain on the inside. Here is another piece of that chrome excel, which really looks like shell until you look at the inside there. But brown chrome excel Western texture. It's got like a little bit of a cherry undertone to it. It's almost like a color 8. Tony the Ant. And one of my favorite leathers that we were unsuccessful with in the past, maybe we'll bring it back. We have smooth natural latigo, and that's what this leather is, but this has a Western texture in it. I really like latigo. I really like light colors. I thought people would love this one. People did not seem to buy it. But if you want patina and something that's super durable, I think this is the ultimate. So if you're not familiar with Horween's Latigo leather, it's pretty similar to the Cypress, except it does not have any wax layer on the finish. So it's chrome tan with a veg retan. It doesn't have any stretch, or very minimal stretch, I should say, and it develops a great patina. So there's the Tony the Ant in Western Natural Latigo. Here's another one of those chrome excel pieces with the Western texture. It really looks like shell. Shocking resemblance, how smooth that is. See how we fit the passport in. You can also fit one in on the left, or field notes can fit in there. This is beautiful. I think this is not a Herbie. This is a traveler passport holder. I love the look of this just because of how the color has changed so much around the swirling parts of this texture, where some areas it's a little bit more caramel and then other areas it gets like a little bit pale. I think that looks beautiful. Really cool. I really like that one. But this is our traveler passport holder. It's like the Herbie. It's a little bit taller than a Herbie. You can fit a passport on the inside in the slot there. As such. How hard is it to obtain, and how often does Horween produce a psychedelic shell cordovan? They kind of don't. They just do it whenever they want. And I'll get a phone call like this morning. Hey Phil, I got some crazy, Skip called me about some specific leather this morning that I won't spoil because I don't know if he wants me to. Hey, I got this crazy leather. You want to try it for some belts? I'm like, yeah. And that's usually, he's usually playing around in the same way that we play around, trying to come up with new ideas. And then when he has something he thinks is worth sharing, he'll share it with me. But that's how psychedelic had come up in the past. And I'm sorry guys, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm just not feeling right today. I don't know what's going on. I'm uncharismatic. So we've got another traveler passport here in color 8 cordovan with the Western texture, and that's also beautiful. Yeah, Osmo, it's my pleasure. I love doing these, man. It's good to see you guys. And hopefully you had a good holiday weekend too. So this, see how I said it looks like cordovan? So this is the cordovan one, and here's the chrome excel one. They're really, really similar. I mean, look how bright and shiny that chrome excel is. Super similar. Really nice. And then another one of those hammered gator things. This one is really sleek. So this is a Shorty Joe Batters prototype. It's like the Capone, but we made it a little smaller so you can fit a bill in it. It doesn't have the hardware of the Capone. And then we've got the skip stitch on the side. Check this like piece of cordovan out in the center. Just super, like some of the cleanest cordovan I've seen right here. Just like how smooth it is, how shiny it is. I love the look of that Joe Batters. And we did another one in color 8 in black, gator, Shorty Joe Batters with the skip stitch. Beautiful. That luster is what you want to see on shell cordovan. Glass, you want to see just pure shine. And we have a Lucky card holder in the same combo with the color 8 on black cordovan. And then the inverse of that with black on color 8. also really nice. I should stop saying they're nice. They're all nice. Oh, and then we have got the alternating. So it's color 8 black, color 8. You can see in the card slots. What color is this? I think, look at my notes. What color do you guys think that is? It looks like 2 colors, huh? I think the top one is a little different. So this should be, what the? I think that's amaretto. I took a note that's Western amaretto. Oops. Oh my God. Oh no, did we lose our place? Oh my God. Oh no. We're just winging it today, guys. I think that's it. You know what? I don't know what it is. I'm not going to lie to you. I forget what it is. Okay. Oh, where's the chat? Oh no. I got to get chat back. Looks like natural and whiskey. It kind of does, right? I see like a little bit of red in there. It almost has the essence. Oops. Hi. It almost has an essence of the amaretto. These, sometimes putting the prints in them, like I mentioned, makes the color much more accentuated. So sometimes it's hard for me to tell. It kind of looks like a color 4 garnet amaretto bastard. Maybe that's what I should call it. Now here's another hammered. This has got everything. So it's like marble black in the bottom. Then we've got marbled color 8 and then marbled cigar combined. All 3 of those. And the marbled black kind of looks green. The marbled color 8 kind of looks orange. And the marbled cigar is like a brownish orange. It's kind of a cool lucky card holder here. And you can see when it hits the light, since we've hammered that texture, it's much less aggressive feeling. You can see that there are a little bit of ridges in there, but they're flattened out. You can see here it's like a little taller. It's an interesting thing about this hammered concept. Now here's another one of the combinations from earlier. We had the Lucky Wallet. This one is a Lucky Card Holder in the same combination of blue wax flesh and natural pit tanned horsebutt. I like that combo. Look how smooth that leather is. Super, super smooth. You can see it in the light for sure. How it hits the light. It's just like glass. Kind of like a cordovan. It is tanned alongside the cordovan and polished the same way, but it's not cordovan. It does have grain on it. Here is hatch grain color 4, I believe, with amaretto on the inside. And this is the 50, we're calling this the 50-50. So this has the traditional card slots on the right and the vertical card slots on the left, 50-50 bugs. Here's one in green. I like the natural wax edges on the green. I think that works nicely. And this green is vibrant, again, with the print, and it's almost like it squeezes the color back out. You get a little bit more vibrance of color on the green shells here. Really like that combo too. And I think this is green and natural for the 50-50 bucks. Really nice stuff. And by the way, I need to compliment my team. They are not in the room. The next time we do a limited release, you'll probably see more of the team back here as we expand our workshop. Sewing stuff behind me. I'm gonna have to find a new, my desk keeps getting moved because I want them to have all the space. All right, so here's another prototype version. This is like our Vic snap wallet, but it's like a gusseted Vic snap wallet. It's like a combination of the small zip and the Gus snap wallet. Todd, you got a great question. Who does the color combination of the wallet layouts? I let everybody go crazy. So sometimes I'll go in and cut stuff myself. Sometimes Matt will cut for them. Sometimes Dan will cut. But the best results come from when people have their own autonomy and you trust them, or at least that's what I've observed with the team here. We have really skilled and creative individuals on the team that just come up with these combinations. So I believe this combination was made by Poncho. I've noticed a specific style that individuals have here amongst the team. I can kind of tell who did what just based on the colors that they choose. And I think it keeps it fun because like if it was just me choosing all these, it would only have like Phil's style, but I really like having this diversity of like color combos and styles and different ideas. Like I don't, something as simple as that 50-50 bugs I probably wouldn't have come up with, but it seems like just letting people loose and have fun with it gives us really nice results. And it seems like people like them. So it works out. It's also fun just to experiment and to like see what resonates because we just want to give you guys something that you want to wear and try out. So this one is color 8, Western texture with a yellow horsehide interior for all those gusseted sections. We need thinner, softer leather for any of these gusset wallets. I do like the yellow and burgundy together. And here's another one of my favorites, blast from the past. This is the Gus card case. May have a little bit of a thinner leather. I like it thinner, I think. And this has the gator texture and color 8 shell. You can see on the side here, this has a gusseted section in the center, but there's really just a card pouch here and one in the back of it. You can kind of see it there too. We call this the Gus card case. The one, Elizabeth, if you're asking, I think you might have been asking about this. We're calling this the prototype gusseted Vic, I believe. This one doesn't have a full name yet. This is playground territory. So we don't have a full name for that guy just yet, but prototype gusseted Vic. And then this one is the Gus. Speaking of gusset, that's how I came up with the name for that guy years ago. Gus card case. And check out, I need to shut up about how great everything is. This one is beautiful. I really like the blue on this specific wallet. So this is denim blue cordovan in 2 ways. So we have the gator texture on the inside that you can see peeking out the bottom, and then the normal denim blue on the outside, and then cigar for the top of it. And I think that it's a really nice blue shade. And then we have the machine gun jack here. This is gator on natural. If you're not familiar with this guy, this is just one big piece of leather that's symmetrical and it flaps over in thirds and snaps down. It doesn't really do a great job of holding US dollars unless you fold them into thirds, but for 6 to 8 cards, it's a really good minimalist style. And just a little bit more unique. And then we have one in color 8 gator. Well, I have 6 more pictures. Here's one in hatch grain cigar. The most straightforward brown. And that's it. We made it through 400 photos in record time. Yeah, drop me all your questions. I got about 10 more minutes here, and I would love to answer any questions you guys have. Everything that we just looked at will be going up in almost exactly 24 hours. So tomorrow on the limited release section of the website at 5 p.m. Central Time, which is 6 p.m. Eastern, all the stuff will be up on there. Okay, questions, please. I'll just start from the bottom and work my way back up. Jack could be a really cool business card holder. I don't know who Jack, what? How often do you put out hand stitch wallets? Damien, good question. We charge a little bit more for them, and they cost a little bit, they cost more, they take more time to make, and we do them. You may have noticed from me speaking about the Trifold being a little bit disappointed about the cost. I don't want to charge money. I'd rather so sometimes I want a diversity of price points as well. There's no hand stitching in this drop. But we do have, sometimes we have drops with 10 or 20 hand stitched wallets in them. You saying it here in the comments, if that's something you want, I use these chats to inform the next batch of limited releases. So if hand stitching is something you want, give me your ideas in the chat and we'll make them in the limited releases. While in the picture's cool, not very practical. Not only for money. I'm not sure which one you're talking about, the blue. I'm sorry about that. Good question, by the way, Todd Ledford, about who makes the combinations. Western texture is legit. Became some of your favorite leather. Awesome, Doug. Experimental turtle leather. Honestly, that's kind of a good, we should call it like tortoise shell or something. That's a good idea. Osmo XL. Awesome XL. You're welcome for doing the live and sneak peeks. It's my pleasure. How hard is it to obtain, and how often does Horian produce their psychedelic shell? Not often. Random variations. I can't even order it. Gator got hammered's funny. All right, what else did I miss? Have you thought about a two-piece trifold? We hadn't really. That might be a little funky. Yeah, the price point for the Dublin wall is expensive, Ma. You're right. I don't love it. I'm not happy about that. We need to figure out how we can slim down the trifold, make it more affordable. Maybe if people don't want a bill slot, we could do something. That would save a lot of money. How about a drop with non-shell? That was a good question, Navis, and a good suggestion. We could do a non-shell drop. All right, let's see. Aspen belt. Oh, Ben D. The Aspen belts are, I have two of them. There's one in a size 34 and a one in a size 36. I believe. So here's the 36. It's awesome. I mean, it's crazy shiny. I should probably consider going back to doing the videos with the camera top down and me holding all the leather underneath, because I like being able to show that. Like the luster on this leather can sometimes only be seen like in motion. And it's sometimes hard to show how shiny something is in the photographs. Aspen is beautiful, and I don't do a great job selling it. I wish it existed more because I love it so much. And by the way, who was it? Somebody said they had an issue with their Aspen with the finish rolling off. I'm going to try that. I'm going to take a scrap piece and dampen it and try to rub some of that off. All right, I'm back to the bottom of the chat here. If you got questions, I got a couple more minutes here to chat. Damien, you have a couple of pieces, but wanted a hand-stitched ones. I like the look. What wallet would you like to see hand-stitched, or what type of item would you like to have hand-stitched? And I'll add it to our notes. No problem, Damien. Tommy C, what other color shell looks really good with dark color 8? Thinking of Tony with two different colors, dark color 8 and whiskey. I think color 8 and whiskey looks nice. We did some color 8, and I don't know if you saw in the photos here, maybe I'll pull one up. I kind of enjoyed the color 8 and black together. Like, I was surprised at how much I like that combination. You could do color 8 and amaretto, that would work. Ask my team, if you're emailing Trevor, ask them to just put the two colors side by side for you. And see, I found, here's a color 8 in black. So maybe a photo like this helps spark your imagination. This is black on color 8. And there's color 8 on black. I think that works. I think the whiskey would lighten up the color and makes the color 8 look even better. So I might stick with my initial reaction of whiskey. Good question, Tommy C. The blues. Hello. Do you think you will ever do a special non-stitched wallet? Thank you. Have a pleasant day. Here is midnight. What? I've seen some people in our leather community doing some non-stitch wallets. I think they're pretty cool. My fear is that I don't want to like rip people off. I thought about doing some of those before. One of the first wallets I'd made, wow, now 2010, so 15 years ago, was something that was like barely stitched. So I thought about, I mean, that's an old thought. I wouldn't put it, I wouldn't consider, I would consider doing a non-stitch wallet, but that's not at the top of my list right now. Ben D says, tell me more about the natural Latigo. I've been wanting Western natural shell for its patina potential, but the natural Latigo is tempting. So I got to be honest. So I've had this key fob with my beautiful Honda key on it since I bought my car like 15 years ago, or I guess 14 years ago. This is like one of the first things we ever made was this key fob here. And this is Latigo, but this is a color called Regatta Blue Latigo. And it used to be a really bright, vibrant blue, but I love how this has worn in. And I haven't done anything to this in over a decade, except for wear it. And I just love how it breaks in. It's shiny, it's gonna fade in color so if it's a brighter blue like this, but that natural will pick up like your color from your denim pants if you wear that. I will say it's pretty hard to beat the cordovan for patina, especially in the natural Western. I don't know if I would deter you from that, but Bendy, I will send you a little scrap piece of natural Latigo Western if we have it. Just, Ben, send me an email if you want. It's Phil, Phil, at Ashland Leather. Send me an email. I'll send you a little piece so you can see what it's like. Because I really like it. And I think it's another color that I suck at photographing because something about the color science in those cameras, like make the natural Latigo look like a different color. I feel like I fight the color on the natural Latigo for some reason when I take the pictures. But you kind of have to see it in person anyways. Very grainy, I would say. Oh, so tell you more about natural Latigo. Latigo is defined, it's one of the most traditional combination tan leathers. So it has the strength, heat resistance, and durability of a chrome tan leather with the aging characteristics and natural vibe of a veg tan leather. So it's got the best of both worlds, kind of like a Chrome Excel, but the Latigo is very, very grainy because nothing has affected the grain, so it's full grain. The other thing that I like about Horween's Latigo specifically is the flattened appearance of the grain, and that is a side effect of the drying method that they use called pasting. So they have these big glass frames at the tannery, and when the leather comes out of the drum, they apply it to these big glass frames with glue, and they slick it on the frame, grain side pressing the glass. And what that does is, as the leather dries, it gives it a very flat and compacted grain. So it also gives it to me, like a really glossy, sort of glazed appearance that's desirable to my eye. So I like this idea of like a compacted, flattened grain with the veg tan character and then the strength of the chrome. I think Latigo is great for that. And then same with the drying method, it is very, very minimal stretch because it's been stretched out on that frame. So I've always loved the Latigo. I think I'm going to say it. I think it's Horween's most underrated leather is their Latigo leather. Ooh, Fat Herbie Colorate candy cane stitching is a great idea, Damien. Lupe in our shop here came up with the candy cane hand stitching concept. I don't think I've seen anybody do that in the world. I'm sure somebody figured it out before. I hadn't seen it. That was an original thought from Lupe, and she just started making those one day, and we loved it. Bendy, give us more of the lightly marbled violet and lightly marbled UV. That's a good idea. I don't think we have any of those. Pedro, what's up, Pedro? Hi, how do you decide when a wallet will have hand stitching and machine stitching? By the way, I love candy cane stitching and don't see it often. 2 in a row for the candy cane. So I like to use machine stitching generally. People make the argument that hand stitching is more durable. I don't agree. But let's for the sake of argument say that they're right and say it is more durable. Well, either way, I guarantee the machine stitch one or the hand stitch one forever. So for me, it boils down to hand stitching we charge more for. So it's more expensive. And it makes it a little bit more about the stitching, which it can be cool if that's what you like. We use a thicker thread for the hand stitching that is not able to be fit through a machine. So the only way to get this thick thread is by hand stitching it. And it makes it like a bold, chunky thread, which can look amazing, especially on the orange hand stitching. I think looks really nice. I like the blue color hand stitching, but for some reason this orange that we use really works well. But to me, it kind of takes a little bit away from the leather and makes it a little bit more about the stitching. So for me, I like to err on the side of machine stitching because I think it's a little bit more refined and it makes it more about the leather. But if you were to choose hand stitching, you should, if you like that look. It's mostly about your taste. So I don't know, like, how do we decide to do it? Is like if we're feeling inspired and want to make like a Kansas City Chiefs wallet and really want to make the team's colors pop, we'll use that bright yellow thread to make that yellow pop out a little bit more. You can also do similar things on the edges of the wallet and accent color that way. We don't do it very often, but we should do it more often because it's awesome. We can only do so many of them too. There's a lot of labor that goes into that. We're honestly kind of busy, but we're trying to do limited releases every 2 weeks is the goal. Damien, the violet is hand stitched. They had a couple of months ago, sold out quick. Honestly, dude, these days, like, I'm still shocked at how fast these limited releases sell. And I understand it can be frustrating for people, and I'm sorry about that, and I get that frustration. I'm trying my best to remedy any of this. There's only one of these things, so I can't satisfy everybody. So my only thing I've thought to do is just to do the limited releases more frequently to give you more chance to pick something up if you like it. And if you don't have the money or don't want to buy anything, I just think it's a fun experience to do these live streams and look at all the potential things, see all the different color combinations, see all the different leathers, different designs. I just think it's fun. So it's a good way to interact with me and Ashland, just checking out the stuff, even if you're not buying. I think it's cool that you're here checking it out. And honestly, that's been the whole mission of the company for, 14 years now, is just to share the experience I had when I started working at Horween. And I'll share it here before we wrap it up. I started working at Horween Leather in 2005, I think. It's 20 years ago. And I was supposed to only work a summer job, and that summer job lasted for 14 years. When I was being trained there by Skip Horween, he would walk me through the tannery. And before that experience of walking through the tannery, I thought leather was brown, and I didn't know it was more than one tannage. There's different animals. Like, none of that even crossed my mind. And I remember seeing a piece of blue leather for the first time. I'm like, man, I didn't know you could make. I just had no idea. So it gets deeper too. Like, once you start wearing those leathers, like this blue leather here on my key fob, this experience of the leather changing as I wore it was really eye-opening and really fun. I should stop using the word really. I very much enjoyed the experience of the leather changing in color and changing in feel and changing in texture and just kind of breaking in. So that experience is what I'm trying to propagate into the world with Ashland. I just want more people to have this similar revelation and appreciation for something that I wasn't even aware of, and something I wasn't aware of 20 years ago, and now it's like my favorite thing. So I'm really just trying to share that feeling through these limited releases and through the other products we make. Cool story, bro. All right. Sprawley says, the Trifolds are a little on the pricey side, but they will last forever. Kind of buy once, cry once. It's true, Sprawley. I shouldn't have brought that up, but like I did have a little bit of sadness like with how we had to price those trifolds. I don't love it. It kind of bums me out. So we might go back to the drawing board and figure out how to make something cheaper. But it has to be, I should do a video on how big that pattern piece is. It's huge, and you have to use shells that are $200, and you have to use multiples of them. It's not pleasant. Chris Lee, how are the patterns for embossing plates selected? I'm interested to see the wide variety of patterns that are used. I've been promising for more than a month now that I would have a tour video of the tannery, and in that tour video, I believe I featured the embossing plates and showed a bunch of them. I'm still waiting on my buddy Nick to give me the thumbs up, thumbs down on that tour video. I think we're pretty close, but I don't know why it's taking so long. Chris, you got to stick around for that video. But there's over 100 embossing plates. They're huge. They're the length of my body by, a couple feet deep, and they get screwed into these big presses, and they heat them up, and they hydraulic press them down with a lot of pressure. It's pretty wild. Some of the plates are as dramatic as the Western here, and some of them are so fine you can barely tell there's anything in it. Those are called a hair cell. There's also smooth plates that look like a mirror. So you can get a bunch of different effects, or you can have a little bit more subtle. They would call them like an upgraded type of look, where you're faking the full grain character by printing it in there with a hair cell. I'm excited about that tour video. I gotta call Nick. See if he's finished approving that. Yo, Tommy C, you're welcome. Thank you. Todd Ledford, how does the gator print in the lighter shell affect the patina on the lighter shell? I think it makes it more dramatic, Todd. That's a good question. The string print seems super rare. Is it? Yes, it's rare because people don't seem to gravitate towards it. It's also known as like a oak grain, I believe, PRP2. Part of it is this like a really specific look, and I don't know if people love that look. It's like a really old school, like 60s and 70s look. So it's just not hip right now for some reason. You only saw one ever. Yeah, we don't have any of that. Give us some more reverse black, epic, psychedelic splatter, and minimalist wallets. You got it, Frank. Osmo, awesome, XL. It shows how much you love the craft. I do love it. I'm very lucky to be able to do this every day, man. The olive color shell you used once for the 13th anniversary. Yeah, the olive green was really good. I got to get more of that too. That's a good call. I'm in for the virtual tour, probably in too deep into leather. I can't believe color 4 lizard cordovan is a meaningful combination of words. I know, it's bizarre, man. Think about it from my perspective too, where like our goal is to share this with people that have never seen it. So I have to speak gibberish to people that have no idea what I'm talking about. Oh yeah, this leather's full grain veg tanned, and it was tanned by Horween, and they're like, what the hell is any of that mean? It's really hard to be a marketer. What's the worst thing about Nick Horween? The worst thing about Nick Horween right now is that he hasn't approved this hour-long tour video that I'm excited for you guys to see. I think you guys are gonna like it. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'll just give you one last thing. Is these are all going up. Everything we looked at in the video, we're going up at 5 p.m. tomorrow. It's a little less than 24 hours now. On the limited release tab of the website, ashlandleather.com. So you can check them out there. I will keep an eye on the comments for the video here for the next day. So if you had any questions about any of the stuff in here, I'm happy to answer them. And I would love to. So thank you guys for being here. Ben, D, Sprowley, Chris Lee, Pedro, Awesome, XL, PRP2, Frank, Todd Ledford. You guys are the best. Daniel Haskins, thanks guys. Hope you have a great rest.